Ashley, I have 6:30. Shall we begin? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear.
Yes.
It's fine. Go on ahead.
Okay. Well, it says we have, Ashley, do you know how many participants we have tonight?
Right now you're at 44 participants.
44 participants. Okay, well, we're gonna just a couple of things I want to say tonight. I'm so excited to see all of you here tonight, and it's been a while since we've met together. So I'm really, really excited to see all of you here tonight. I also want have with me tonight my Chief Operating Officer, Jessica Upchurch, my Chief Financial and my Chief Financial Officer as well, and that's Kelly Young, and also my Chief of Advancement Officer is here, and her name is Beth Hammock. So they're all here. If you have questions for them, Kelly Young, our Chief Financial Officer, will be speaking to you about our finances, something that I told you that we will keep you up to date as to where we are during the year. I first want to say that November the 11th is Veterans Day. And to our men and our women in uniform, whether it's past, whether it's present, or the future, I want to say God bless each and every one of you and thank you for your service. So let's remember November 11th, Veterans Day. I'm going to start with our town hall meeting. Next slide, please. We're going to start off, every meeting we start off with our Girl Scout promise. So if you would mind, let's do that right now. On my honor, I will try to serve God and my country, to help people at all times, and to live by the Girl Scout law. Thank you. A couple housekeeping items that I'd like to go over with you tonight, and that is to please keep your microphones on mute at all times, unless you're called upon during question and answering period. Now, I've heard the volunteers loud and clear when they've said to me, you do not give us, Loretta, enough time to ask our questions. Tonight, I am going to allow 30 minutes at the end for you to ask questions. And I put it at the end because I'm hoping to answer a lot of your questions during the presentation tonight. If you need more time, I'm not going to rush it. I will allow you to have that time. Any questions that's added to the chat box will not be answered tonight, but will be sent out afterwards, after we conclude the meeting. We ask that you, when you're asking questions or you're giving comments, to please be respectful to all and to live by the Girl Scout law and remember the Girl Scout promise. Our agenda tonight, several things that the staff have been saying, you as volunteers have been saying, you want to be up to date with. I'm going to try my best to give you the most updated information that I have on Camp Butterfly, the Girl Experience Fund, trainings, outreach troops, membership report, that year-end giving, and that true financial position that we're in, cookies in January, and financial assistance. So with that, I will begin. Just give me a few minutes here. I will start out with Camp Butterfly. Actually, I am having some problems with my screen and not getting to where I want to be. So if you guys will please just bear with me.
Okay, we'll take a little pause for a few minutes.
All right. Okay, Ashley, we're ready.
Thank
I
you.
want to start with talking about Camp Butterfly. The sale of Camp Butterfly property is completed, and we no longer own that property. The sale was very successful, much, much better than we expected it to be. Some of you may be wondering, after we sold Camp Butterfly, and I've had several of you ask this question, you may be wondering if the board of directors will consider saving other camp properties. The board met this past month and discussed camp properties. They received letters from several of you. And I can tell you, the letters were well received. I'm going to repeat that again. The letters were well received. So much so that they could not come to a conclusion at the meeting, and we'll be discussing Camp Torpor at our next board meeting. Now, they have told management to gather more needed information so they can make some informed decisions. I will definitely keep you informed of their decisions as best as I can and when I can. But let me be clear. The board decision to sell camps still remains, but they hear you, and this is why that they are requesting more information from the management. As far as Camp Chinyata, some of you may be wondering about that. Camp Chinyata was on the market already, and it was too late for the board to reconsider that property. That camp will be sold in December. Again, if you would hold your questions to the end, write them down. You can ask them at the end. I will be happy to answer those questions at the end. The Girl Scout Experience Fund. Well, I know many of you may be wondering about the Girl Scout Experience Fund because we are actively selling our camps. In selling camp properties, the investment earnings of the camp will remain as financial assets of the council, which will be deposited into an established Girl Scout Experience Fund. Now, the proceeds from the investment earnings will help underwrite the cost of girls to fulfill their Girl Scout experiences. We are working on a committee made up of volunteers, staff, and board members. This committee will determine how to best utilize these funds. They will be looking at the assets of resources, equipment, and where the equipment will be housed, program, experiences, and all of the experiences that the girls are asking for to be funded. Remember, the long-range property planning work results were to improve and enhance the delivery of the program services to girls by increasing opportunities across not just some areas, but across the 40 and a half counties in Southern Illinois. So I'm excited when that group gets together and makes some decisions for the Girl Scout Experience Fund. Trainings. The volunteer resource team wanted everyone to know that trainings will still be available online as well as in person. COVID has changed a lot of our lives, but the volunteer experience team want you all to know that trainings will be online as well as in person. In-person trainings are still to be offered, even during these difficult times. We will always practice social distances, of course, when we are conducting these trainings. The cookie training in 2020-21 will be coming up soon. So please let customer care know if you have any questions about any of our trainings. Outreach troops and volunteers. With the growing concerns of COVID-19, several outreach schools and communities are in need for help. We are looking for volunteers during the school day to lead these Girl Scout groups. We have all heard the saying, it takes a village. It takes a village to raise a child, and you will help grow that village. Our Girl Scout founder, Juliet Gordon Lowe, envisioned a woman's place not only in the home, but in society as a strong leader. So if you are interested in helping out, please contact customer care. I want to give you a membership update. With, like I said, the growing concerns of the coronavirus and everything that's going on, our life has changed a lot. We are currently at 63% of our traditional girl goal for membership. I want to congratulate the following service units for already achieving 100% of their 2021 girl goal. Those service units are Service Unit 110, Highland, yay! Service Unit 211, Waterloo, yay! Service Unit 9, Centralia, yay! And Service Unit 511, Effingham, yay! We have many other service units who are itching closer to their goal. Thank you for continuing to promote Girl Scouts in your communities. We are proud to continue to provide the premier leadership experience to all areas that are heavily affected by our factors, at all these factors at this time. Volunteer Sources 2.0, an upgrade online registration and troop management system is coming at the beginning of December. Please look for our e-newsletter for November, which will have more information, including systems downtime, VTK, Volunteer Toolkit, and GS Learn from November the 18th through the 1st of December. If you have any questions about this, please again, contact customer care for more information. Year-end giving. We're going to talk about year-end giving now because we're going to go right into our financial position. And I'm going to call on Kelly to do that in a few minutes, but year-end giving, very important. Now, one of the ways we are improving our financial position is by increasing the amount of money donated to the council and the number of donations. This is happening by engaging more individuals, more businesses, and foundations through marketing, communication, and personal visits. December is the most popular time for people to give to nonprofits. We will kick off our holiday season on Giving Tuesday, December 1. This is a day set aside for Americans to give to their favorite nonprofit. Please remember Girl Scout December 1st or any other day this year. So if you would like to give. Your gift will help us provide financial assistance to families who is really going to need it this year so they can become Girl Scouts. We know that this is a tough year for many families, so your support is going to mean a lot. Now, I told you before about our financial position, and when we had that last all-town meeting, a lot of you were concerned about the state of our finances. Some of you said, if I would have known, we would have done something to help out. And we promise to keep you more updated and to be wide open so you can see what we are doing when it comes to our finances. At our last in-person town hall meeting, we promised to keep you updated, and we're going to. So at this time, I'm going to ask Kelly Young, our Chief Financial Officer and Administrative Officer, to report on our finances. Kelly?
Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to be able to bring to you preliminary numbers for our fiscal year ending September 30th, 2020. I'd like to begin my remarks this evening by pointing out that our financials are audited every year by an independent audit firm. Our audit firm is scheduled to begin within the next couple of weeks. Our audit firm spends at least 7 days on site, maybe a little bit different this year, but typically they spend 7 days on site doing field work during the audit, and then another 1 to 2 weeks back in their office finishing up the audit, drafting our audited financial statements and our IRS 990s. As always, just a reminder, our audited financial statements and 990s for the past 2 fiscal years can be found on our website. Our financial information is also disseminated in our annual report, which is available at the annual meeting and on our website as well. So for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2020, we are projecting a $200,000 loss. If you recall, FY 1920, we ended the fiscal year with a $737,000 loss. So we've made substantial grounds in chipping away at the deficit spending year over year. We were able to keep this loss to a minimum through receipt of Paycheck Protection Program funds, staff furloughs, and lower expenditures due to program and camp cancellations. Just a reminder, since the merger, contributions and special events revenue have remained relatively steady with very little growth up until FY 18-19 when we had our inaugural United We Lead Gala. At that time, our special event revenue averaged about $55,000 per year, but we were able to grow that to $123,000. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic this year, we were forced to move our gala to an online virtual event. It was still successful with net proceeds from this event coming in at approximately $45,000. Our hope, of course, is to transition back to an in-person event in 2021. On product program revenue, we have remained relatively consistent since the merger up until FY 17-18, when we realized a sharp decline of $300,000 due to a significant loss in girls. FY 18-19 brought another decline of $100,000. FY 19-20, we raised cookie prices by $1 per box. This increase gave us the lift we needed to realize an increase in the net revenue to $2.2 million in the cookie program, an increase of $400,000. FY 19-20 fall sales revenue was $181,000. We are currently wrapping up the fiscal year 2021 fall sales accounting, and we'll report those numbers to you at the next town hall meeting. Due to our current circumstances with the pandemic and lower than anticipated membership renewals, we have budgeted an 11% decline in cookie program sales for this fiscal year. Currently, product program revenue accounts for 68% of our operating income budget. This is very common among Girl Scout councils, but leaves us in a very precarious position. As Loretta mentioned, we are trying to find other ways to bring in sources of revenue so that we are not so heavily reliant on our product program income. As far as reserves, we have made strong headway in coming from a negative reserve amount to this year we're hopefully going to end with a 6-month operating reserve as of September 30th. The recommendation by GSUSA is a minimum of 6 months. So we're hitting right on that line with our operating reserves. Right now with the sale of camps, the money that is designated in this endowment fund, the Girl Scout Experience Fund, the earnings, as Loretta mentioned, will be designated for programs. But we will be able to count those numbers towards our operating reserves, which will help out tremendously. This will help with GSUSA when they're looking at our charter renewal, and also with our United Way reserve, cash reserve metrics, which they both look at every year when they determine our funding. This concludes my financial report for this evening, and I would welcome any questions at the end of our town hall meeting.
Thank you, Kelly. Wow. Again, as Kelly already noted, we have come a long way. Come a very long way. From a deficit of $737,000 to where we are today. I want you all to know there was a lot of hard work, a lot of sacrifices to make this happen, including furloughing staff and many other sacrifices. I was asked at the in-person town hall meeting that if I would look at the FTEs, and that's the number of full-time employees, as a sacrifice. And I said, yes, I would, and I did. And I also want to point out that all of the staff will be required to take a 2-week furlough as well this coming year. We are dedicated, operations is dedicated to balance their budget to the best of our abilities. I also want to note that although we have had success with selling camp and properties, operations goal is to balance the operational budget without using these funds. That's very important. As Kelly said, you heard her, We have 6 months of reserve at the end of September. And that's not including the sale of Camp Butterfly. So we have come a long ways, and we are very proud of where we came. But it didn't come without a lot of hard work and staff sacrifices and your giving and girls working and all of us working together. We made it happen. Cookies in January. It's Girl Scout cookie time. January is coming up. I'm so excited about cookies this coming year because we are going to be having a great year for cookies. This year, we'll be starting our digital cookies, not in January, but in December. And we will continue our January booth sales one more year. Now, we were not going to be doing it this year, but we're going to continue it one more year. This will be the last year to continue the January booth sales. I know our opportunity for digital cookies is going to be fantastic because I am so excited to let you know that the Girl Scouts of Southern Illinois is partnered with PCs for People. Some of you may have already seen us in your communities and working with girls and families in low-income areas to get a computer and have the resources they need to be successful, whether it's in school, whether it's in Girl Scouts, or whether it's in programs all the way around. So I am very excited about that partnership, and we're going to be doing a whole lot more with them. Financial assistance is available for programs, not just for membership, but for programs. Now, because of the pandemic, we have had to cancel several programs this past year. The program department are getting notice from our partners that they have to cancel because the risk is too great. I know in the beginning when we told you all you couldn't go to camps, yes, it was hard, but the risk was too great. Our partners are saying the same thing, and I can certainly understand their point of view. But as a result, we have to offer fewer programs. We do have some partners that agree to work with us, but the cost is very high. They have to buy more things to make things safe for all of us. So I want you to know that financial assistance, I cannot stress that enough tonight, is available for programs as well. So if you see that we're offering the same program, but the cost is much higher, this is why. Because our partners are requiring for us to pay more. Financial assistance is available, and we encourage you all to apply. Now, at this time, I'm going to go into questions, but we asked you all to send in your questions if you have questions, and we're going to, we did get one question in, and I'm going to answer that question right now. This is coming from the Charleston-Effingham area. How do we see more programs and collaborations in our area as we are 2.5 hours away from St. Louis, where most of the programs are generated from? I live in Mattoon and Charleston area. Even Effingham would be closer. In membership year 2020, the Program Engagement Department had a goal of setting up at least one program per pillar in each of our 9 service areas. Unfortunately, half of the year's scheduled programs were canceled due to COVID. The council quickly had to switch gears and move toward developing virtual programs. Currently, We have implemented a program by demand option to troops and service units, as well as programs that are geared toward girls working individually. With this initiative, your troop can request a program just for you. You can request this option by using the link, and Jessica will tell you what that link is in a few minutes. We hope that we can return to regular. We hope that we can return to regular in-person programs real soon. Once restrictions are lifted and facilities once again welcome us in, we will be back to scheduling them in all areas. In the meantime, we need your help to enhance our offerings. Please let us know of any businesses in your areas that would allow in-person Girl Scout programs. We need to know that. We are happy to make the contact and set the program opportunity up for your area. At this time, I'm going to pause, and Ashley, I refer to you with questions at this time.
Okay, thank you, everybody. If you do have a question, I'd ask that you use the hand raise emoji on your screen, or just raise your hand and I will try and get everybody in here using your screen names as well. First one I see, screen name Schultz. If you would like to unmute and ask your question.
Yes, my question kind of goes to our volunteer planning committee as well as programming. I really liked how you set up the virtual badges. That's really helpful, even just for troop meetings. I find myself going to other Girl Scout Council websites often to plan programming for my girls for badge work. The one I go to the most is rivervalleygirlscouts.org. If you check out their page and type in like Daisy badges, Brownie badges, they have excellent laid out lesson plans that you can just take and use at your meetings, and it meets all the requirements. I would really like to see Girl Scouts of Southern Illinois do something like that on their website so that we have better resources when planning our badge work for our troop meetings.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We will definitely get this information back to the program department.
Thank you. The next hand I see is Gretchen, and I can't read the other name. Go on ahead and unmute.
Gretchen and Seth. So there will not be any January cookies next year, so that we won't be doing the booth sales before we do initials. Is that what I'm hearing? Not this year, but the coming year. And I'm just trying to figure what was the thought behind that, because that's like 50% of our sales.
Right. Well, we have talked to many volunteers, and many volunteers have said they like the January sale. And then many volunteers have said, Loretta, we start the sale in January, and then we stop in the middle of the sale, and then we start up again. Our goal, Gresham, is when we start it, we want to just keep that thing going. We don't want to stop. So once we start, if we start in January, we want to keep it going until we're done. What the volunteers were saying to me, Gretchen, is we started and then we stop, and it's like we're having almost 2 cookie sales. So that's the rationale.
Okay, because we were running booth sales the whole way through, and near the end of our booth sales were actually when the cookie weekend or when the booth weekend would happen for Girl Scouts, and we'd almost have to save cookies to be at it. And I mean, it's a large portion of our sales. And it's the portion that gets my girls, all of them want to have the stuffed animal is like the goal for every girl in the troop. So I would just think, we get out there before the initials and kind of get the people on their reaction cookies. And I just worry that may not be there. But if you took a good poll, you took a good poll. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. The next hand I have is E back. If you would like to unmute and ask your question.
So last month I was talking to Loretta at the Meet the CEO, and we were talking about how there's no more camps down here, and she said that she would fight to get more, but all I see is her selling them. Why is that?
Well, as I stated before, the board has made a decision. And as I stated before, many of you have wrote letters to the board. And as I stated, and I'll state it again, the board took those letters very seriously. This is why, again, that we will be meeting again to talk about camps.
Oh, okay. So I want to go back to the last gentleman's question about the January cookie booths. And you guys supposedly asked the leaders. No one asked me. And I can tell you that. Because I know in my area, January and especially Super Bowl weekend, these are huge. You know, when you sell, you know, the majority of your cookies at the January and Super Bowl weekends compared to, you know, going door to door, you know, that just isn't going to happen. Not in a small community like this. Those January booths are a necessity. Or I should say the booths that are prior to the national cookie booth, the last weekend of February and on. Those are necessities. GSSI should not get rid of those at all.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your information, Betsy.
So is there going to be another evaluation, or is just me talking about it dead to the world and you guys have already made up your mind?
Well, we certainly have your information. And you know, we're never just talking about something, you know, we are listening and we will look at it and evaluate it.
So you guys, so GSSI will revisit hosting, letting January and February cookie booths happen for after 2021.
We have it for this year. We will be looking, we'll be looking at more.
So is that a yes, that you will revisit the
Betsy,
idea?
I cannot answer you right now. If that's what you're looking for, if you're looking for an answer right now, you're not going to get an answer tonight, but
Why?
we will be looking at what you're saying.
Why can't I get an answer?
Because when we surveyed people, it's just what I told Gretchen. And if you would like to discuss this with me more, we can discuss it but I have other people that I'd like to answer questions
No,
for.
that's fine. I just want to make sure that you surveyed Service Unit 72. I'd like to know who in 72, whenever you and I have a chat. I will contact Ashley tomorrow and we will set it up. And I want to know who was contacted in my service unit and said, we don't want it. Thank you.
Thank you, Betsy.
Thank you.
Next
We're
question.
moving on to Connie Schott has her hand raised. Go ahead and unmute, Connie.
Oh, yes, I was curious. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can hear you just fine.
I was curious. You said that it's too late to take Camp Chinyaga off the.
Yes, Connie, that's correct.
It's already sale.
Connie, I can't understand you. Ashley, can you understand what she's saying?
You're breaking up just a little bit. Can you repeat, Connie?
Has the sale been finalized for Chinyaga?
The sale has not been finalized, but the sale, we actively have people that are interested in it, and it's already on the market to be to sell.
So
the board asked me to look into it at the board meeting, and when I contacted the individual, it was too late.
So if none of them decide to buy it, can we take it off the market?
Well, the thing is that I think we already got offers. So
okay.
That is, Connie, that is exactly what the board wanted me to look at and ask, and I did, and it's too late.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. The next one, I've got a Dawn's iPhone. If you can unmute and ask your question.
Hi, this is Dawn Greenwood. I think
I'm
you
getting a
should
lot
be-
of people saying, well, I'm the service unit cookie manager as well as my troops.
Yeah. There's two ways we do cookies. We have weekends that are handled by the service unit, which are like Girl Scout cookie weekends, and then there's just booths that we set up. I guess the clarification might be, are you saying that there won't be any sanctioned Girl Scout cookie weekends in January, which would not necessarily keep us from doing our own thing? And I know you might not have the answer now, but I'm wondering if there's some logistical confusion here. We're not going to sponsor cookie booths like we have been doing in January, or we just don't want people having them at all. I guess that's two different things, and it could be that people are upset thinking it's one and maybe it's the other. Thank you.
Yeah, like I said, the feedback that I've gotten from volunteers is, okay, if we started in January, let's just keep it going until the cookie sale is over versus stopping it and starting it again, which is what we have been doing. And the goal is, once we start it, we want to keep it up. You're going to be still doing booth sales. You're probably going to be doing more booth sales. But the key is to keep it going once it gets started.
Thank you. I've got a Sydney Hodge, if you would like to unmute.
All right, well, the first question I have is, I'm a new troop leader and I need to get all my training and stuff done. And since all these camps are closing, I was wondering if anyone had talked about the canoe training yet. Because I've been trying to do that since I became of age for canoe training, and it's still not a possibility for me.
Yes, Jessica, I'm gonna turn this over to you and let you answer that question.
Let me unmute. Hi, thank you for the question. Yes, canoe training is on its way. Please check the calendar. I would say in the next couple of weeks, and if you'd like, I think we have an email list for this, and let me just verify who asked that specific question, because I want to reach out directly to you with the link when it's up and ready.
My name's Sydney Hodge.
Sydney Hodge, thank you. They're working on securing a date and making sure the facility will still let us come in, as the COVID numbers are changing daily. We're hearing day after day cancellations or shifts. So we just want to make sure that we can confirm it's a go before putting it up and having to let you know, we're having to reschedule. So I also see Teresa in the chat log. I'll make sure that we get the information to you when it's up. It's coming very, very soon.
Okay, awesome, thank you. Before I unmute myself, Nancy, I had one question for you.
Loretta, yeah, it says Nancy, yeah, it's okay. That's okay.
Whenever you were talking about stopping the booth sales, what did you mean? Because I know my troop, once we start, we don't stop. I just wanted to make sure I was clear with you on that.
Well, in the beginning, in January, like how we doing it right now, we order so many cookies, like maybe, I don't know, 10,000 packages or something like that. And then we sell those cookies and then we run out. And then we start again. Cookie says we stop cookies because people come to the office and we have ran out of cookies. We stop and then we start again.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I thought you meant that we stopped our booths, and I was like, we never stopped when we started.
No.
So
It has nothing to do with you guys. You guys will keep selling. If you had the cookies, you'll keep selling. It has nothing to do with you guys. It has to do with the council offering it a kind of a pre-sale and then stopping it and then going into the cookie sale.
Okay. Whenever the board does revisit this, is there a way that you guys could like put a poll out for all of the troop leaders or something so that you can get more voices than just a selected party? Because I know there's a lot of us that would like to put our input in.
Yeah, and like I said to Betsy, we will definitely be looking at it. Again, it was supposed to start this year, but we felt like Kristen, the product sales director, felt like you volunteers needed some more time to kind of look at it. And I'm kind of glad we are, because what I'm hearing tonight, just to answer your question, yes, we will definitely look at that.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Sydney. And the next question I have is from an Amber Sailor. Feel free to unmute.
Okay, my issue is, obviously my issue is cookies, but my bigger issue is you guys talking about the events for our areas. And last year, well, I was hit with this today, but last year we had an event here in Perry County that literally, I'm the service unit manager of Perry County. I had no idea what was going on. I had one mom and one girl show up. And the only reason she knew about it was because someone from council reached out to her to help with it. And then I got a phone call tonight letting me know that our event for the 21st down here was canceled. No idea what she was talking about. So apparently there was an event planned was supposed to take place at the Perry County, at DuQuoin Fairgrounds in Perry County. We have no idea about it, zero. And I'm training adults to take over positions. I can't train them when I can't get cooperation from council. And I can't let my leaders, therefore they can't let their girls know anything when I can't get cooperation from council.
Okay. As far as Jessica, you want to talk about how the information gets out when it comes to events?
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually, Amber, hi, I was the one that spoke with you earlier today, and was going back and doing some research. It looks like this event was planned back in January. So I know it's been like 11 months on an email between our director of programs. So, all of our information, when we do set up with our locations, once we're able to confirm setup, it goes on our website, and then our community engagement managers typically share that out with service unit teams, service unit managers usually, and then we ask everyone to go out to our calendar to make sure you know what's going on in your areas as well. What we can do, if it would work better, is since we are making sure to focus that there are certain pillars being showcased in every regional area, our e-newsletter that our Marcom department will be distributing on a regular basis. If that's somewhere where something you look for when it comes out and you are reading that on a regular basis, we can make sure maybe to highlight them by area, if that would be helpful. So that if you're in area 6, you know that, I'm gonna look right at area 6 news and events that are coming up. And that's definitely something we can work with our program team on if that would be more helpful.
I think a lot of it, if we could get someone from council, it doesn't really matter who, to, like, if it's going to be in someone's service unit, to let at least the service unit manager know when you guys are planning it, because not everybody, I have a couple leaders who don't use internet, and therefore if I don't know, I can't tell them. And I know Perry County's complained numerous times in past years that there's nothing near us. A lot of service units say the same thing. There's nothing near us. There's nothing near us. So then we look stupid when it's literally in our backyard and we have no one show up because we knew nothing about it. And it would have happened again this year too. No one would have showed up because no one knew.
So you're asking if an event is being held in your specific area, that the service unit manager being notified of that occurring. Like, hey, here are the programs that we've set up for this next spring season.
That would be amazing because, like I said, we look dumb when it's right here in our backyard. We've complained so many years that it's not in our area, and then it is, and then we don't show up.
I understand. Something I can definitely take back to the program team and we can discuss and see how we can communicate it better.
Okay.
We want to do better.
Well, that's the thing too, because like we said, if we don't go, eventually they're going to quit doing them in the area, but it's kind of like, it's not really our fault either, because if we didn't know they were here, we can't attend to them.
I completely understand. Thanks, Amber.
Thanks.
Thank you, Amber. The next hand raised, I have Jonathan Ridgely. If you'd like to unmute.
Hi, yes, sorry. It's actually Jackie. I forgot to change my name.
Sorry, Jackie.
So one concern that I have kind of goes along with the previous question is about the programs that are available in our area. Now, I know that we all are trying to keep our girls and our families safe. However, the travel restriction that is in place to me is a little much, because I live in Alton, and a lot of the programs that I would like to take my girls to participate are 2 hours, sometimes even 3 hours away. And I have 13 girls, asking all 13 parents to drive 2 hours or 3 hours away because of the travel restriction, to me, is a little ridiculous. I don't understand why, if we're all in a vehicle, which I know we're supposed to social distance, if we wear a mask, I don't see why we can't, if I have enough drivers, break it up into smaller groups so that the girls can sit farther away in a vehicle so that we can participate in programs and support our, fellow Girl Scout councils, or even our own council with program that is far away from us. Either that or offer more programs in Alton.
Jessica, do you want to answer that? I actually understand where you're coming from. And it is certainly something that is concerning, and that, but again, we want to be safe. We want to make sure that we are doing what we can to keep our girls safe and healthy.
Right.
I was talking to the program director, Mary Buchanan, just recently, and we were looking at where maybe we're going to have to start looking at buses and school buses, because school buses, you can do that social distancing. But there's things that we're going to have to look at. This is a new way of work, a new way of doing things. And we all know that these girls want to be together, and we got to figure out how we can get them together. So any help that you all can offer us on and helping us to make that happen, that is one thing. Mary and I talked about using school buses, contacting the schools, and because we can say, okay, if a school bus has a capacity of 50, maybe we have 25. I don't know, but we have got to do something to get these girls together.
Sure, and I agree. The other concern that I have is my troop signed up for a Think Like an Engineer program, and we were under the impression that it was an in-person thing, and it's only offered virtually. My troop is fortunate enough that we can meet. We're having meetings in person because we have a place that we can socially distance. I would like to see if it's possible to have the programs that are offered virtually, if we could also offer them in person for those troops that are fortunate enough to be able to meet in person as well.
Okay, Jessica, I don't know if you want to respond to that, but we'll certainly take your comment and your concern and bring it to Jessica, and Jessica can discuss it with her staff. Jessica, did you want to comment on that?
Yeah, I thank you for that question. Those are two really great questions, actually. I'm taking notes so I can take it back to the program team, because I definitely don't want to speak for them and what they can do and what they can't do with their capacity right now. Back to the travel issue, I would say that if you're traveling just a day, like in one day, travel to the Girl Scouts of Eastern Missouri and participate in a program. Right now, we just have restricted overnight travel. So if you're planning to stay overnight, then that is where we have a hold on things.
Right, but I thought I was under the impression that our travel, that we couldn't travel together in one vehicle.
That is correct. That is correct.
Okay, so that's
enough drivers with families that are willing to drive, you can definitely drive to that program area. And I know that's, I understand that.
Right. That's the point. Is I have 13 girls that I have 13 different parents. I'm not going to ask 13 different people to drive 2.5, 3 hours away for a program, when it can simply be, if we could put 3 girls in a car and take 3 cars rather than 13, that would solve a lot of problems.
Oh, I 100% agree with you. Absolutely, it would solve a lot of problems. And know that this is not forever. This is temporary as we navigate this. You know, this is all new for all of us. So we're trying to figure out how to serve the girls in the safest way possible. So unfortunately, right now, we don't allow carpooling per our COVID guidelines. And it is a big ask that each family drive their girl, but unfortunately that's where we're at right now. Again, it's not forever. We plan to we do reevaluate things on a regular basis. But I'm gonna keep
And,
the program.
and like we mentioned earlier, we, as Jessica said, we will be reevaluating things. And, you know, in my comments in the beginning, I mentioned, you know, cost is going up. This is one of the reasons why, you know, if we have to get those buses, that's going to be a few more dollars that, you know, we will have to ask for girls to pay. So we will be reevaluating things. It may come with the cost, but at least they'll be together. I also want to just talk a little bit more about cookies, Ashley, before you have someone. I want you all to know what I'm talking about will not happen in 2021. We're talking about 2022, okay? We have plenty of time to look at this, revisit this, talk about this, get on track. So I just want to be clear. We're not talking about this coming January. We're talking about next January. Okay?
Thank you. Next question we have coming from Janice Monroe. If you'd like to unmute.
So yeah, along those same lines, we had the same problem. There was finally a program. It was actually a STEM program in the Mattoon, Charleston area. And we had actually planned our own service unit camporee that weekend. So not one single girl could go from our own area because of the same problem. So I think at a minimum, the service unit managers need to be aware of an event happening in their own region, because we can't, be planning two things at once. So then you're asking the girls that have already we had already had everybody signed up. So ours was planned long before that. And when we found out, we're like, okay, we can't even have anybody go. And we begged for people to come to Mattoon and Charleston. And we finally had one and we couldn't even go. So mine was just kind of pointing that same thing out, that even our own service unit manager had no idea it was happening until it was too late for us to change it.
Well, point well taken, and we definitely will be looking at that, because, one of the things that when we offer these programs in these areas, we have went back to the board and said, we didn't have very good participation, so therefore we're canceling the program, or we had to cancel the program. But we are definitely, I'm hearing two people say this right now, we will definitely need to reevaluate that to make sure that if a program is in your area, that you service unit managers and service team members get together with those troops and make sure we sell out. So we hear you loud and clear, and we'll be looking at that.
Thank you for that question. I have a hand raised by Debbie. Go ahead and unmute.
Gosh, I figured I'd be longer down on the list. And then Loretta go, it's time to go. You're supposed to, there you go. Okay, so first off, I'm going to say the programs, you guys, start looking at your calendars. And I may be the devil's advocate here, but get involved with that program, because that's how we knew they were going to be in our area, was being involved and asking for the programs and knowing when they were coming and helping them plan and helping them find places. I mean, you kind of got to look at all the resources that we have out there. So that being said, I'm done with that. Loretta, my question is for you. On the Experience Fund Committee, can you tell me where the people are going to be, where that committee is going to be made up out of? Are they all going to be over on your side, or are you going to share the joy?
Well, all the sides of my sides, Debbie. But let me just say,
Okay.
let me just say, Debbie, that, you know, we divided the area up into 10 areas. You know, that map that we showed you guys that we came up with. We're going to have people in every one of those areas involved. We will have staff involved, volunteers involved, and our program director, Mary Buchanan, we've asked her to kind of head this because she's the one that's doing programs with you guys, whether it's day camps, whether it's resident camp, or whatever the case may be. She's doing those programs with you. So we will have volunteers from across that map involved. Well, they will be on this committee. So this committee is going to be quite large committee, and board members will be on this committee as well.
Okay.
So to answer your question, it will be from all over the council.
Okay, I'm good with that.
Thank you, Debbie. I've got another question from Amber Saylor. If you'd like to unmute, go ahead.
Okay, January cookie booths. I've been a leader since 2012. I've had girls from the time they were daisies. And every year we would do every weekend in January for cookie booths, and then we would not do cookie booths in February and March. So for a lot of troops who do that, they're not going to get a chance to do booths. And a lot of that reason, talking to my leaders, is because just like with COVID this year, we got shut down in March. So a lot of us ended up paying for cookies that we still had on hand because we couldn't sell them due to COVID. Same thing a lot of other years. If we keep getting cookies from council and we only do February and March, then by the time the end of cookie sales come, we still got cookies that haven't sold yet. So we would get cookies in January, sell them, get more if we needed them, sell them. But once the first week of February was here, we were done because a lot of leaders do not want to get stuck with cookies that they still have to pay for and we cannot get rid of.
Right. And I hear you, Amber. I hear you loud and clear, which is similar to what the volunteers were saying. If we're going to start this thing in January, let's just start it in January. Let's just go and be done with it. But again, it's not happening this year. A lot of you volunteers have got some opinions when it comes to this book, cookie booth sales and this cookie sale. I hear a lot of opinion, a lot of passion opinions. So therefore, we are going to be looking at this again, 2021. Not have to worry. We got a whole year to look at this, and then we'll get back with you.
Thank you, Amber. I've got one question from a Parker Smith. Go ahead and unmute.
Hi, I actually have two questions really quickly. So this is just, the first one just for clarification purposes for what I saw in the chat. So for January 21 cookie sales, are we going to be expected to prepay for cookies, or is it going to follow the same process that it has in the past?
The same process.
Okay, so we won't be expected to prepay. Okay, great. And then the other one, you know, you mentioned two things tonight. You mentioned a cookie booth survey that was sent out to, you know, a group of individuals, and you've also mentioned transparency this evening. Would you be willing to publish those survey results specifically to the specifically to the cookie booths in January?
Sure. I mean, I don't have a problem with that.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions? Now's the time.
I'm looking and I do not see any other hand raised.
Now it's time to ask your questions. And I think out of everything tonight, I took away two things. I took away cookies, and I'm taking that away in a big way, because you all definitely want me to relook at these cookies. I mean, help me out. You can nod your head yes or no, but definitely I'm hearing that tonight. Is that right, people? Yes, that's what I'm hearing. And then of course program, but I really think this program thing, we can fix this program thing. I'm hearing, you know, I've seen in the past that we offered programs in your areas and low attendance, and now you're telling me tonight why that is. I encourage you to do like Debbie Parker said, get involved, but we also want to do our part too. If we can in any way get a hold of service unit managers and say, hey, this is what we're doing. We want the house packed. We want to do this. This is a joint effort, people. It's not mine. As I said to Debbie, all the council is mine, and all the council is yours. So we want to make sure that we're working together as a team for these girls to have the best Girl Scout experience that they can have. Any other questions? Do I have any board members on the call tonight?
Loretta, I do have two questions. One from
Okay.
Jackie and then Debbie Parker as well.
Okay.
Jackie, if you would like to go ahead and unmute.
Hi, I don't necessarily have a question, but I just wanted to say my troop is in Paris, Illinois, which is a small town, and it's about half hour from Charleston. And so all the camps surrounding us are 3 hours away. So I was just hoping that we could get something closer to us. I have a lot of girls, mostly brownies, that are willing to go to like the day camp. They've never been to camp. They're nervous about it. They'd go to the day camp, but there's absolutely no way, can't drive them 3 hours. And then, that wouldn't be feasible for the day camps. And they're too nervous to go to the all night camp, especially with it being 3 hours away. So I didn't know if something could happen to where it would be closer to our area. Even the Charleston, I know that Charleston and Mattoon have said the same thing. Even if something was in Charleston, that would work out better for our troops. And we've gone to things in Indiana because we're kind of on the border. But I would really like to, not that I don't want to support all Girl Scouts, but support this Southern Illinois Girl Scouts. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Thank you. Thank you. We certainly will be looking at that. I know the Long Range Property Committee is looked at all of our areas, and we want to make sure that you have the ability to have day camp programs in the areas that's close to you, as well as areas away from you. That way you will have the choice to pick what you want.
Thank you. Debbie, would you like to unmute?
One more question, Loretta. The other night when I spoke with you in Effingham, we talked about the cookie advancement for the service units. And I followed that up with an email. Have you found out anything about that yet?
Yes, I'm going to have my staff help me with this now. I don't think it was taken away. So Jessica, can you chime in, or Kelly, can you chime in and help me out with this one?
Sure. I mean, oh, Kelly, I think you were going to talk. Either way.
What's the question yet? What's the question? I'm sorry.
So her question is about the $300 cookie advance that they typically get. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this year it was changed so that each service unit would receive a fair amount based on the number of girls or troops that are served in that service unit. So that service units who serve, 1,500 girls, or that's just a random arbitrary number, but would receive more funding so they can serve that number of girls. That was basically what I was referring to.
Correct.
Well, I understand that, but I also, as I expressed to Loretta, if we are going to have to continue to do all the programming over here ourselves, and now you're taking away what little money we would get to help with that, it really, now we have to pass all that on to our girls. And we have one county that is probably 90% or more financial aid. We don't get financial aid for programs that we do, only programs that council does. We're not getting any of those programs. We had one in our county last year. So by taking away that money for us or any of these other counties around here, you're harming what we do to the girls. We always got more. We would get that $300, and then we would always get over and above that. In another thing, I just feel like you're I feel like you're punishing the smaller service units and rural counties that are not close over there. Sorry. I mean, it's not just me. I'm sure you can ask the other ones around. It's the same way. You take away what money we get, it makes it hard to do something for the girls without charging them. I do a service unit event. I do a cookie rally at no charge because we could with that money. And then we got a good attendance. If I have to charge them $5 a person, they won't come. Just my opinion.
Debbie, you certainly has given us something to talk about and think about and look at. Okay, so I appreciate your honesty.
Thank you. Sydney Hodge, I've got a hand raised from Sydney.
Hi, the younger sister's a Girl Scout and she wanted to chime in and ask a question or.
Well, our camp, Wasatoga, is turning into a youth camp. And the leader, right? Don Quicksall. And I think it would kind of help for Jackie's situation that she's going through right now for her camps.
Tell her where we're at.
In Effingham.
Yes, it certainly would help Jackie. You're absolutely right. And thank you for offering that. We have been in contact with Dawn. Dawn would love to continue to work with us Girl Scouts. She was a Girl Scout herself. So absolutely, that's definitely an option that we will be looking at.
Is that all you had, Madison?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Sydney. Jackie, I've got your hand raised if you'd like to unmute.
I wanted to comment on what Debbie was saying. My troop is the same. If an event is free, they all show up. If they have to pay $3, they do not show up. If they have to pay $5, a handful will and a handful won't. If they have to pay any money, they don't come. But if anything is free, they all always show up. And then thinking of money, when I was just starting as a brand new troop, it would be really helpful if the council could help with that, because you start with no money whatsoever as a brand new troop, and I had to pay for everything that we did, and I know, and it was too early to start fundraising, with the cookies and the candy, the fall sales. At the very beginning, when I started, I had to pay for that. So it would be very helpful if the council could help brand new troops and give them a little bit of something, to start out with to begin with.
Well, Kelly, do you want to talk about that a little bit? And we are looking at that, Jackie, just so you know.
So we are looking at troop startup funds, kind of like some seed money that, like, as you said, you start out with nothing to kind of get troops off the ground and going. We looked at some possibilities of, if we have a troop that's disbanded, and they have funds that come back to the council, putting that into a separate account so that we can use that for the troop startup funds as seed money. So that is an area that we're really looking at, because we realize you start out with nothing and you need to get going somehow.
Thank you for your question. I've got a hand raised from Jackie Ridgely. You want to unmute? You're still muted, Jackie. There you go.
There we go. I'm doing it on my phone. So to go back to I guess my concern about the whole carpooling thing. I'm known to be a tad bit ridiculous with questions sometimes. So if my troop were to rent a school bus that we could socially distance, is that a thing? If we can socially distance, can we all ride together to an event as long as we wear masks and we're socially distanced?
Well, that's a really good question, Jackie. And I say it's a real good question because, you know, kids are going to school on the school bus, and I think that they're socially distanced. And one of the things that we like to try to do is follow what the school is doing. So that's definitely a possibility, Jackie.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Got a hand raised from Janice Monroe. If you'd like to unmute.
So I guess a couple things. I'm actually one of the other board members for Friends of Camp Wasatoga. So yes, we are working on still trying to get that as an availability for girls to use in the Effingham area. As far as like the virtual programming, I guess this is my personal opinion, and it's not that I can't afford it, because as a physician, it's not that I can't afford it, but I know that my girls are very much involved with doing all the product sales and things like that. And some of them just seem like they're awfully high for what they're getting, especially like the virtual ones, because I mean, you could lower the price and have hundreds of girls being able to do it at the same time. And I can say that what comes in the mail in the kit for $40 is not really a $40, I guess, cost. So the cost itself seems like it's not matching what they're charging for it. And I think you would get more girls doing it if the cost was pretty much more hardly over the amount of the actual cost of the stuff that they need in the supplies, if that kind of makes sense. Because I don't know that they're supposed to be designed for Girl Scouts to make more money. I feel like this should be something that as an organization, we're trying to help these girls do more activities, since especially right now, they can't be, because we can't get together. We've had to postpone multiple events and cancel multiple events. And so having things that are cost effective, I'm not saying that, you know, by any means that we shouldn't pay for the amount of what the cost actually is, but or even just say, here's the supplies you need, instead of having, like, if you want to just pay $5 for the virtual part, but you need these supplies in order to complete it, or including the badge price, because like our troop would pay for all the girls' badges. That's part of what we use all of our product fundraising money for. And in this case, every time they have one, the parents then paying for patches again. And then as far as troops starting out, you can, I don't know if maybe it's possible that like the first time fee would maybe have an extra $5. And so then whenever the girls start a new troop, they would automatically get $5 per girl to get started until they got to like the fall product sales. And so that should be enough. I mean, we've never had to collect dues from our girls, luckily. But I mean, I think that would potentially help. And then as you've already been established, you wouldn't need that anymore. So then your price is lower for all those subsequent years. And then it's already going to be there. So as, you know, council collects the money that first time, those $5 then come back to them. So then we're actually helping the girls that truly needed the financial assistance, and those troops that are high financial assistance girls, because they're not going to be able to collect dues and things like that. So,
so Janice, what I think I'm hearing you saying is that for these virtual programs, you know, if the council could just let you get the supplies on your own and offer, pay for the patch and the whatever it costs outside of the supplies. You know, is that what you're saying? It would be better for your girls?
I think we're even, just to where there's maybe possible cheaper options, to where like if I knew which girls all needed it, I can make a list of all the patches and have it sent from council one time as I need, 10 girls participated in this and in this. And so I just make one big order to the Girl Scout shop and all those patches come with it. I mean, I know some of them needed like different supplies to do it. So one of my girls did the backyard camp out. And I actually got all the stuff after the camp out was even over. So she never even got to participate in the campfire sing-along because it happened while we didn't even have the stuff. And then she got like a bar of soap and a plastic knife and then the scrunchie and stuff like that. So I'm not saying that there weren't things that also came from the shop, but I think there's virtual programming that we could probably make available to where it's just, here's the virtual program, sign up and make sure your leader knows. And then these are the things like, if you need the kit of all the stuff, this is the cost. If you don't need the kit of stuff, this is the supplies you need. And then, you and your parent, if you're doing it, can just get those few things and it would probably be cheaper than having it shipped and all that kind of stuff.
I hear you. Thank you, Janice, for that. Jessica, do you have any comments that you would like to make?
Yes, I appreciate, Janice. Thank you for sharing all of that. It's, definitely all taken into consideration. My hand's getting worn out making lots of notes, so thank you for that. But I did want to let you know that the Programs by Demand service that the program team is offering, I dropped the link in the chat earlier tonight. But that virtual program by demand, if you're wanting to do that, that is $5 per girl. So right in line with what you were asking for. And then they provide you with a list of supplies to get. So on the same page, I'm so glad to hear that that will work for some troops. And I encourage you to definitely check that out as well. And then I've taken notes that I'll bring back to the program team from your other thoughts. So thank you.
Thank you. We've got two last questions for the evening. Amber Saylor. Amber, if you want to unmute.
On the lines of service unit startup money, a lot of the issue, I mean, I see where council's coming from, where we have service units with a lot more girls, so they do need more. But if we could have like a base level of everyone getting at least the 300, because like with our service unit, when we have new troops, we keep hearing membership, get new leaders, get new girls. But the problem is, each new troop, for them to have a bank account, they have to have $25. Who pays for that? The service unit. So if I go out and get a bunch of the new leaders and a bunch of new troops, that money's gone in no time. I think we got a little over $100 or so this year for startup. That's 4 new troops and it's gone. And then we don't have anything other than what little bit we have from the year before to do any of the girls or to do anything like that.
Okay, Amber. It's, and I'm hearing the same thing from everybody, whether it's cookies, whether it's the startup funds, or whether it's program. I'm hearing the same thing. And I've got them all 3 written down here. So Amber, we definitely, we hear you loud and clear.
Thank you, Amber. And last question, hand raised, E back, if you'd like to unmute.
Hi. So since I've been listening to everyone else, I've added to the things that I wanted to say. So with the programs in the areas, I believe Debbie started it. Well, not started it, but she's the one who voiced it first, I believe. That is huge. I'm in a small area, and I don't think that the girls in those areas should get penalized for not being able to participate in council-led programs because they're not offered in the area, which then also goes along with the other thing about the cost of them. So I know my service unit has very few girls, and we cover 3 counties. My service unit does. But it's just the way that it is down here. So
again, Betsy, definitely there's, like I said, 3 main things, that being one of them. Programs, cookies is definitely high, and cookie sales, and the proceeds from the cookie money. So again, we will these are three things that I heard loud and clear tonight. You know, I was looking to hear a whole lot more, but these are the main things that you are focusing on. You volunteers are saying you really need to take a look at all three of these things, Loretta, and I'm going to do that.
All right, there is another thing, because we already had our leader meeting, and we got a hold of the November 2020 program engagement paper, and I was reading through that, and on it, it talks about, let's see, it says about bringing day camps or twilight camps to your area, and it says that council staff will help you recruit and train your staff, secure supplies, and make sure you have the support you need to offer a memorable camp to your girls. So my question is council staff going to come and actually help recruit and train whatever staff will be at our twilight camp, as well as help get us the supplies, you know, and give us the support? Will we actually have someone come here?
Jessica, do you want to answer that? Do you want me to?
Yeah, so I can answer it. So our staff will train. Yes, we will come and train. We will help you recruit with recruiting strategies and help you brainstorm on how to recruiting. The only reason we typically rely on you helping us find the people is because you know your area is best. You know, we can't obviously be in every community and know who's who, but we are definitely open to being out there, listening, giving you strategies, you giving us locations and people to talk to. We are so happy to come out and help you with that. But on the training aspect, yes, we will come train you.
Okay.
Becky, let me piggyback on what Jessica was saying there, Becky. And she said it so nicely, in that I can approach the people in your area if you tell me who to approach. We've done this before, Becky. You've told me people that I should talk to, and I've talked to and have had very success, you know, whether it's on a board level or whatever the case may be. People know you in that area. They don't really know Loretta. They're getting to know me, but they don't know me in that area. So if you volunteers can help me in certain areas, I'm really getting to be pretty well known in the Effingham area now because of friends from United Way, Girl Scout leaders, and even with these PCs for people, the computers that we have to rely on you all to help us get the people that we need at these programs in that area. Girls want to see people in their area at those programs.
So let me ask, okay, so will council staff only help recruit, train, secure supplies, and give us support if it is a council, like if it's listed on your website, if it's a council twilight camp or day camp? Because I know that in the past there have been deadlines, like we have to let council know by X amount of date of what the days are and, you know, about what our camp's going to be. So, and if we miss that deadline, well, then it's no longer council sponsored, I guess, or promoted. So my question is there going to be something like that? You know, if this isn't council promoted, am I still going to get assistance from council in securing the supplies and training the staff?
It sounds like you have some. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Jessica.
Oh, I was just going to say, it sounds like that Betsy has some pretty specific questions for her area. We can work with you on deadlines and such a lot of times, but Betsy, would it be helpful if our day camp staff gave you a call directly to talk out some of these details?
Sure, but okay. The reason I asked specifically is because I don't know, you never know if there's other people in other areas that would also have these specific for their area. I say it for my area because it's me.
Right.
Yeah, I see what I understand what you're saying. So if other people have the same questions, we would always
Right.
love to support any day camp that's happening, whether it be like, I would hope that all day camps happening across Girl Scouts are being council supported. And if that's not happening, then let's have a bigger conversation. But I would say specifically for you, Betsy, if it's happened in the past, let's talk offline and we can have a conversation. But I think we have a little bit more flexibility with deadlines this year. And if I would say for anyone on the call, if you're having trouble securing locations and so you need a little bit more time, let's talk. We're flexible. We would love for all of day camps and opportunities to be what you're calling council supported and council promoted.
Now, what if we don't want to charge for it? Does council have an issue with that if we don't charge?
So there are a lot of questions I would have, which may also be specific for your area because—
Come on, Betsy, you're killing us now.
Well, but in this instance, it's not necessarily specific for my area because as you heard from some of the other ladies, you know, if it's free, they have a lot of girls that would go. But if they have to pay, the girls don't go. So my question is, you know, if someone were to host a day camp and not charge for it, is that a problem?
That's not a problem in my book,
No.
as long as you have a way to pay for the supplies to provide an excellent Girl Scout experience. I mean, I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
No,
Well, I mean, this also said that council staff would help secure supplies. Now, I know that doesn't mean get everything by any means, but that would mean that you guys would help secure supplies, right?
Not necessarily if you're not charging a fee. This is very specific. I don't know that.
Oh, okay.
That everyone has these same questions. That's why I think that we should talk directly. If other people have those questions, I encourage you to give us a call. We'll talk through all of these details.
Okay.
All right. Well, I think, Ashley, I think I gave a lot of time for questions tonight. I hope you all feel better that you got a lot of your questions answered, or you were able to ask your questions, whether you got them answered or not. I know there's 3 that's really high on the list, and that is cookie sales. That is real high on the list. We're going to be looking at that because I hear it loud and clear. You asked for the survey. I'm going to try and get that from Christy and get that out. But this isn't happening this January. I want you guys to hear me loud and clear. It's not happening this January. We got 2022 we're looking at for that. So we want to make sure that we are listening and we are hearing what you have to say so we can work together. This isn't just a council just making this decision. It needs to be a group effort. And also, Debbie, I heard you loud and clear. You're talking about that money. You know, it's a big deal, Loretta. Let's look at this again. We will definitely be looking at and talking about that again. When we came together, we thought it was fair. We thought it was the right way to go with it. Obviously, you guys are telling us that we need to look at it again. And then the next thing is programs, which I really think that we can work this program thing out. And especially when we establish this Girl Experience Fund and this program operating unit coming together. But I really think the 2 high things topic tonight was the cookie sale and the money. So I really think that these are the 3 things that you all want me to focus on. I hope you all were satisfied with everything else that I said when it comes to where we are financially. That was huge, more than anything last year and other town hall meetings. I heard our financial condition. We've got to do something about our financial condition. I hope you are all happy with what I said about that. And the camps, keeping you informed of what's going on with the camps. Again, I want to thank you all. We're going to have many more of these. I don't want this to be, we'll be maybe in the next 3 months, we'll have another meeting just to hear what you have to say. I want to have more than what I had last year. This is the time that you get to tell the CEO just how you feel, what's happening out there, things that maybe I'm not aware of that you can bring to our attention, and work together for the good of the girls. At this time, I want to pause. I think I see one board member on the line, and I don't want to put you on the spot. Melanie, are you there? Did you want to talk at all?
Yeah, I'm here. Actually, it looked to me like 7 or 8 of us were here, and I would just like to reiterate to everyone that we are listening. I mean, we're here, we're listening, we're meeting regularly, and Loretta represented our discussions accurately, and you know, you'll hear more from us as we meet again.
All right. Actually, anyone else? I'm going to pause here. Kelly, you have any lasting words? Jessica as well as Beth. Okay. Any other board member on the call that would like to say anything? All right. Well, ladies, until we meet again, remember what I said about our veterans. We're thanking God for our veterans, and remember Veterans Day. Thank you all, and good night.